Rican.
Well, it jumped into this article that I pulled up that says that a man in Queens, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, stabbed his girlfriend's stomach to kill her baby and won't be charged because of New York's abortion laws. Go ahead. Your mind is racing right now.
Read it again. I gotta make sure I understand this right, because this
Right.
is if I just heard that, it's so extreme.
I'm not going to mention names out of courtesy and privacy, and we don't have the rights to it.
But the names are there.
The names are there.
Okay.
New Yorker from Queens beat and dragged his girlfriend down a flight of stairs and then stabbed her in the neck, abdominal, and torso. He stabbed her in the stomach because he wanted to kill the baby he fathered. Some news stories say that she was 14 weeks pregnant, and others put the figures at 20 weeks. The pregnant woman shouted, "He got a knife. He's going to kill the baby." The gentleman killed both the woman and her baby. He was immediately charged.
He's charged with her death, not the baby.
He was immediately charged with 2 crimes, but the charge for killing her baby was subsequently dropped. It was noted that Governor Andrew Cuomo's new abortion law provides no penalties for killing the unborn children. Abortion was removed from the criminal code and inserted into the public health law. Cuomo has not commented on what he sought. He hasn't commented on the comment.
Somebody needs to press him for a comment.
So
I would not stop. I would be unrepentant of just constantly pushing for that comment. You gotta say something. We want to hear what you gotta say, because that's extreme. That when people say, "Oh, there's extreme," like you ever heard the thing of this is the thing you always hear this with abortion arguments. What about when somebody's raped or the incest? Whatever. We're talking about extreme cases at that point, right? This is an extreme case that literally happened weeks after you passed the law in your own city. Like, it's not like we're talking about across millions and millions of people. We're talking about New York City, your city. Not even freaking New York State. It's such a, Queens, bro.
So,
That's insane.
So, give me your thoughts. What's insane about it?
There's no value put on babies anymore.
So, with this new law, abortion is up until birth.
Up until birth. Yeah, the guy said it. The guy said,
birth.
What if you're having birth pains?
Right.
What if you're dilating? Can she have an abortion?
Water broke. She's going in.
Yeah. She said, yeah, you can have an abortion.
You could have an abortion. So, that's...
You're about to give... You're giving birth. You're not... You're giving birth. They
so
just gotta
why
kill
would
the
he
baby
be charged a
out.
crime for something that's not alive?
Well, that's their point of view, right?
Right.
Their point of view is not alive. But if I found that baby on Mars, you better believe that'd be all over the news, all over the world.
But isn't then the question goes further in saying, well, she wanted to have the baby, so that baby would have been alive. So you killed something that would have been.
I mean, yeah. If you
but then if you make that argument, you could say, well, she could have died tomorrow. She could have been hit by a car if you make that argument.
Yeah, but that's not how she died.
But it's no guarantee that she would have made it full term. Yeah. So how could you charge me for murder? When you don't, even though her intention was to have the child, there's no guarantee that she or the child would have been. So why should I be charged for anything?
Yeah. I mean, that I can't see that holding up in court, but yeah, that's an argument. I can't see how that will hold up. Saying that, but she could have died. That's like that could go for anything. It's like, I killed whatever this woman. They're like, you murdered her.
So
like, she was gonna die eventually.
She was gonna. I mean, don't we all, right? But the argument here is that he's not being charged for this child. This child wasn't considered under the law a living, independent being. Therefore, in the way I'm looking at it, it's like the government saying, an abortion for free is not on us.
Yeah. I think it's horrible. I think it's one of the worst things that New York. I think it's one of the worst things that America's ever done. And you saw in the State of the Union, Donald Trump addressed that. What he said in the State of the Union was, we're going to stop abortions for babies that can feel pain. So to me, I was like, okay, I'd rather you get rid of it altogether. But at least that seems like an ethical place, right? Mm-hmm. At least that's one thing I'd be like, you know what? I'll step back from you a little bit because I see you're trying to be ethical. Like, I'm working with you here, If the baby can feel pain, at that point, 100% you should stop. You shouldn't do anything after that. That's it. It's done. Like, they try to always argue the line. When is it life, right? My argument has always been, when is it not life, right? Because the sperm's alive, the egg's alive. There's never been a point where it's not alive. The entire process is life. But by you saying if they feel pain, I can see your point of view, and it's like a point where I could be like, okay, I'll step away from you for a little bit because at least I see you're trying.
Right. Well, in the article later on, it says that Albany lawmaker who sponsored the bill that Cuomo lobbied for, State Senator Liz Keurig or whatever, like the coffee machine, and her colleague in the Senate, Ann Kaplan, authorized an article in the Times Union that disagrees with the Queen's prosecutor. The Queen's prosecutor's interpretation, right?
That's the problem, right there.
Right there.
Yep.
So, of the law, they say there is nothing in the law that prevents any prosecutor from charging someone like this gentleman who stabbed for a crime. They say this gentleman could be prosecuted for first-degree assault, a sentence that's harsher than the previous sentence for unlawful abortion.
That's what they can charge him with, unlawful abortion.
That's what he was charged with initially, but they moved it up to first-degree assault, which is harsher than the sentence prior, which was considered unlawful abortion.
But the woman still died, right?
Right, that's another.
So
that's a separate charge.
No, but either way, he's done, right? So I guess for
either
them,
way, he's done. Yes.
I wonder for them, they were like, he's finished anyway.
Why are we arguing about this?
Yeah.
All right, you wanted. All right, fine. We'll put assault instead of unlawful abortion.
I can see that. In their point of view, I can say like, look, it's almost like. So I've listened to a podcast and they talk about how they pile on charges, and the reason why they pile on these charges is because they only want you one to stick. That's all they really care about, just one. If they can get one to stick, then the court did their thing. Their numbers can go up. We're solving crimes. We need more funding. That's all they care about. We put all these crimes on you, and then we can say, hey, we're charged this, X, Y, and Z. We would do 80, 20. All right, that's something else. Yeah, I think it's horrible. I think the whole abortion thing is ridiculous. I think it's horrible. I think it's demonic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's despicable. You know what I'm saying? As a country, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah, that came into mind as something I was reading on Facebook, and I said to myself, well, you know, now basically what they're saying is that this opens up a whole new issue where interpretation has to be looked into, and of the current laws, and new laws need to be written in cases like this, because you would imagine that this, you know, would happen, tragically would happen again. Should he be charged for murder of the child, in your opinion?
Yes. Yeah, I think he should be charged.
I think that with the new laws,
at the end of the day, that baby. I mean, look at the way we're talking about it. You know what I'm saying? It's a baby. How can you say no? You know what I'm saying? Like, look at the way people even talking about it. It's like, it's a baby. That's it. It's always been that. You get charged with double murder.
whether she would have wanted an abortion
Or not. Doesn't matter. Right? Because even, let's say it was an abortion. At that point, you're entering a medical space. Right? So at the medical space, right? So if the doctor tells you, okay, you got to pull your plug on your parent, he's going to die, whatever, blah, blah, blah. If you say, okay, I'll pull that plug, you don't go to jail for that, for murder. Because you decided to pull the plug from somebody that was, whatever, couldn't sustain their own life, right? But if you were to walk into the hospital and instead of pulling the plug, just start stabbing them, you're going to jail. Right? So then I can see the difference between saying, okay, even though let's say she wanted to get an abortion, the fact that he did it this way is you're crossing a line.
Yeah.